Thank you again for sticking around. I was having technical difficulties with my audio and video. Glad to see that it looks to be resolved. So I wanted to go live here. I've been getting a lot of questions. I know a lot of you are probably concerned about the recent price action on the stock market. So I wanted to go live and answer some questions, talk about a couple of things I noticed here. Of course, Nvidia being the big one, down considerably from a combination of factors, reports that it's making improper sales, etc. And of course, the impacts of the tariffs, decreasing the risk appetite from investors. So some stocks, understandably, are down today because they are going to be hurt from these tariffs. And others, like DraftKings, I noticed was down at one point over 5% today. And DraftKings, I don't think it's going to be, that's not going to be impacted hardly at all. I don't see any way it's impacted from tariffs. And I think that's one. I've already had DraftKings stock rated as one of my top stocks to buy. And the decrease in the price today makes it even more attractive, in my opinion. Wolfspeed is an interesting stock. If you're a channel member, I recently did a discounted cash flow valuation video on Wolfspeed that I shared with channel members. Um, I need to do more research on Wolfspeed stock um, before I can give you more analysis on it. But it's one that I'm starting to put on my watch list and cover more so uh, going forward. All right, so a question from a channel member, VS Evalad. First of all, thank you for joining my channel as a member. Your question is, if we go down, how much further is there to go? Will there be a pullback? And you anticipated there will be a pullback today. NBIS stock, Nebius stock got destroyed today. So good question. Overall, broadly speaking, I felt that the markets have been frothy, bit on, looking at it from an index level, uh, there was a lot of overvaluation in the broader markets. So this pullback, not surprising to me. The tariffs being the catalyst that caused the revaluation. And so I think there could be a greater recalibration in the broader markets. I wouldn't be surprised if there is a further 5 to 10% down in the broader market. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of great opportunities within the market, especially the stocks that I have rated as the 9 best stocks to buy, which I just recorded the video today, updating my monthly best 9 stocks to buy. And so I do think there are opportunities within the market, but I think there's a lot of frothiness, a lot of overvalued investments, things like Tesla, where I feel that they are, overvalued. A lot of enthusiasm being built into the stock, being priced as if everything is going to go perfect for the next 5, 10, and 15 years. And so I think this is a time for selection. It's time for prudence and being careful with the allocation. I don't think it's going to be broad, kind of everything rally like we've seen, since the election, from November to January. We just saw this everything rally where almost everything went up. And now I think it's the market is doing a little bit of repricing here. And and I agree with Svensson there saying that it's a healthy rebalancing. You don't necessarily want to see everything going straight up all the time. So yeah, I just speaking of my top 9 stocks to buy, I just did that video. I just recorded that video today. Should be out in the next day or two. It's going to be in my editing process. But my portfolio of the top 9 stocks to buy has outperformed the broader markets considerably. I believe my top 9 stocks are up over 5.5% year to date in 2025, where the S&P is up about 0.5% in that time. Bernardo, thank you for joining as a channel member. To answer your question about uranium related stocks, that's an industry I haven't dug too deep into, but I am getting more into these stocks, these energy stocks related to the AI build out of data centers. As you might already know, these data centers require a lot of power, and so energy to support those data centers is in high demand. So I'm evaluating companies that could potentially provide that energy to those data centers optimized for AI. But I haven't looked into UEC or NXE, um, but those could be potential stocks that I cover uh, in 2025. Marin Georgiev, my opinion on AMD stock is I think it's undervalued at current prices. In today's video, I reiterated AMD as one of my favorite 9 right now, one of my top 9 at current prices. I will put Talkspace stock on my list of stocks to cover. Sandcalp, thank you for joining the channel as a member. Michael, thank you also for joining the channel as a member. Palantir stock could go to $65 per share. I agree with you. I think Palantir stock is very volatile. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes to $65 a share. Its increase in price has been so explosive in the previous, I would say, 4 or 5 months that recalibration wouldn't surprise me. Gordon Wayne, thank you for joining the channel as a member. Your question, do I think the fundamentals will prevail and left up to the market eventually? Yes, I agree. I agree that fundamentals are ultimately what drives stock price gains and stock price increases. In the short term, a lot of noise impacts the ups and downs in the market, but in the longer term, earnings per share and cash flow per share, free cash flow, is what drives shareholder wealth increases. And I think that will ultimately remain the case. While there will be volatility and noise in the near term, longer term, as long as profits grow and cash flow grows, I think that will deliver great gains in the market. Remember, one of the main reasons why the market has been rising so much lately is because of increases in profitability, increases in earnings. and increases in cash flow. And that was the optimism driving market growth. The S&P 500, the forecasted earnings per share increases over the next 5 years had been double digits, 11, 12% expectations for earnings per share growth over the next 5 years. And that mostly remains to be the case. The tariffs could be a headwind to those earnings per share expectations, depending on how long they remain in place and the specific retaliations that go into place. And of course, there's so many moving parts with tariffs, right? There's going to be currency fluctuations, as you saw. The companies that are going to be impacted from the tariffs could ask some of the suppliers to absorb some of those. And so there's a lot of moving parts here, but the initial reaction is just the market taking a kind of risk off approach and just going into safer categories, going into government bonds, going into safer, more defensive stocks. So I just wanted to share my stock recommendation list here. Of course, if you're a channel member at the investor tier, you get access to this spreadsheet where I update this list of stocks, and there's over 150, 175 stocks here that I keep a buy, hold, or sell rating on, and I update them multiple times during the week, and I update multiple stocks. And if you want access to that, you can join as a channel member at the investor tier. Amanda Rafston, first of all, thank you for joining the channel as a member. For the rest of you, those commenters that have that blue star next to their name, those are channel members. Thank you for your support. Thank all of you for your support, um, for joining this live stream, and for your questions and comments. Amanda is asking, do I try to time the market, or what signal do I use to buy? No, I don't. I don't try to time the market. To answer your question, I look at valuations, and I look at prices in terms of what I'm getting in return. So I don't just look at the price of a stock. I look at the price to earnings, or price to free cash flow, or my discounted cash flow valuation, and then I compare that to the market price to determine what I'm getting in return. Sometimes the stock price is the same, but it offers a better value because the profits went up and the stock price didn't go up. So I'm getting more for the same price. Kind of like if you go to the grocery store and one day you go in and the 2 liter bottle of soda is $1, and the next day you go in and they're selling a 3 liter bottle of soda for $1. So the price is the same, but you're getting 50% more soda for the same price, and so it's a better value. And that's how I approach investing. Is I look at what I'm getting in return, and sometimes the price goes down, but the profit expectations also went down, and so I'm not getting a better value even at the lower price. And other times the price goes up, but I'm still getting a good value because the profit expectations increased. So it's always a combination of things. It's not just the market price, but it's the market price in relation to the business and what I'm getting in return. Now, today was just a broad market sell off where it seems like the overall market, the risk appetite, swung to a more safer position, right? And this happens all the time, right? You go from this uh, ultimate, like, FOMO attitude where investors just want to buy everything and they're just throwing their money at every single stock they can get their hands on because they just feel like the market is just going to go up and they don't want to miss out, and so they're buying everything. right? And that holds for only a little while before it swings to the other direction, where it's like investors don't want to own any stocks and they feel like the stock market is a hoax and it's a fraud and they don't want to own any stocks regardless of how strong the business is, right? And then that holds only for a little while and then it swings back, and it's just an ultimate fluctuation, right? I've studied markets going back hundreds of years and I've seen this back and forth all the time. And one of the best times to buy a stock is when that market attitude is all the way to the left, where nobody wants to own any stocks and people are just feeling extremely negatively towards the stock market. And that offers great value for a lot of businesses. And then one of the more difficult times to invest is when the market is just in ultimate FOMO and there's a rip roaring rally and everything is going up and everything is expensive. And so it makes it harder to find specific stocks that are undervalued in those scenarios. Misha says, you bought my book on February 3rd and you haven't received it. First of all, thank you so much for buying my book, The Six-Step Framework I Use to Evaluate Publicly Traded Stocks. Um, it's an ebook, so the book automatically gets sent to your email. It probably got lost in your spam folder. If you look in there, it should be in there. If it's still not in there, email us and I'll make sure you get your copy ASAP. Hamid Jafar, thank you so much for joining my channel as a member. Your question is, do I think it's an opportunity yet, or is it going to dip some more? For the stocks that I evaluate, I see a lot of opportunities. So I see a lot of buys at current valuations. Doesn't mean the prices can't fall further, but I think at current prices, there's a lot of good things to find in the market if you're choosy, if you dig through some of the companies that might be overvalued and some of the indexes that might be overvalued. There are opportunities within the market. So I'll take one last question before I have to sign off here, and I'll touch on a Nvidia stock question. King Jason asking if Nvidia stock is going to go back up. It's hard to say if Nvidia stock is going to go back up this week or this month. But what I can say is I feel like if if I were to buy Nvidia stock today at current prices, 10 years from now, I'm reasonably confident that Nvidia will be at a higher price than where it is today. Exactly how much higher? That's hard to tell, but I think it will be higher than the S&P 500 index will be in that same amount of time. So I think Nvidia stock over the next 10 years will outperform the S&P 500 index, and it will be considerably higher than where it is today. In the near term, within that time, the only thing I can be certain of is that there will be volatility. The price will move up considerably, the price will move down considerably. But if I have a 10-year investment horizon or even a 5-year investment horizon, I feel Nvidia stock would be higher in that time. All right, I got to sign off now. Thank you so much, everyone who joined and tuned in to this live stream. Again, this screen that I'm sharing here with all of my stocks and the buy, hold, or sell recommendations, I update that frequently, multiple times daily, Monday through Friday, and even during the weekend, I will update them sometimes. You can get access to this with a channel membership at the investor tier, and you also get access to all of my discounted cash flow valuations for dozens of companies that I'm tracking. Thank you again, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for all of your questions and comments. Hope for better market results tomorrow and going forward.